Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are feeling really good today. And today's video, I do most of my stuff on the computer just like with a screen. So if you're cleaning house or you're just laying down or need to set the device down and do whatever you need to do. Today I want to talk a little bit more about carjackings. It's a crime that is, of course, really on the rise right now. And I wanted to kind of let you know where I'm getting some of my information. There is there are a lot of different stories coming out of a lot of different states about the alarming rise in carjackings. And one thing about America is that, just about everybody has a vehicle. And for some people out there, our vehicles are places, they're a residence. A lot of people are car dwellers, are vehicle dwellers, van dwellers, RV dwellers, homes on wheels. And in the economy that we're in, that is just totally understandable. And besides the economy, a lot of people choose to live that way. However, we are a really large country and we depend on our vehicles to get us everywhere. Most states, I guess I should say, especially in the South, we don't have typically rail systems that connect city to city, especially like in Texas, Florida. I imagine, a lot of the other southern states, we're still so spread out that we really don't have like a dependable, well-maintained mass transit system. So where we could all just get on like a nice train, say, or not subway, but just a rail system to get us from city to city. So we all really pretty much depend on our vehicles. Amtrak does not have a very good track record. I know people who have tried to take Amtrak from city to city, and it is a nightmare, and it is very crime-ridden and not a safe place or a safe way to travel. From what I understand and hear and have read, I know that's available online. There's a lot of different horror stories. But anyway, I wanted to focus a little bit on carjackings and the dangers of car washes. And part of the reason that I am bringing this to everyone's attention is I just want to warn everyone. I'm not trying to keep you from, living your life and doing everything that you want to do. I don't want to be that person. I just want you to be aware that while things may look like they're functioning normally, kind of on the surface, they're not. And I think if you're really honest with yourself, you can tell things are pretty broken. So here's an article. It's called, this is on CBS News. I'm not a big mainstream news person. This is on Forbes. Let's check out the CBS News. But, this is a crime that is really hard to ignore that's happening absolutely everywhere. And then I'm going to show you just a couple of videos of carjackings. And then there is a story. I'm just going to kind of go through this really quickly. It says that the number of carjackings has exploded during the pandemic. It says that they've increased by more than 100% in Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, and Minneapolis. They're up more than 343% in Washington, which I know I've talked about Washington just being a crime hub. It does say in D.C. that cell phone videos showed an Uber driver trying to regain control of his Honda Accord after two teenage girls carjacked him and assaulted him with a taser. One happened in Chicago. A woman was able to throw her car into gear. Investigators say the trend is driven by 12 to 15-year-olds with time on their hands. So once again, we're dealing with a lot of juveniles. Everyone's homeschooled. You know, there's been this huge shift in the fabric of our society and the structure, basically the infrastructure. And suspects are targeting people warming up their cars or delivery drivers. And I've heard a lot about DoorDash crimes increasing. It says here, so what should motorists do to protect themselves? This article just says to be aware of your surroundings and to get out of that situation if it doesn't feel right. And that's using your intuition. It says Navy sailor Draper Younce was waiting for a friend when he was ordered to give up his car at gunpoint. He said he saw movement out of his camera and a man ran up to him, put a gun to his face, and told him to get out of the car. The camera was part of his Tesla. It showed the suspect running towards him, and he stepped on the gas to escape. And he says that what you don't see is the suspect firing at him. The bullets hit the pillar between the front driver's side door and the back passenger door. He felt like there was a little luck involved with that. And I know a lot of y'all out there are delivery drivers right now for like DoorDash and all of that stuff, all those different types of places, and the money's pretty good. And it's going to put you in places that you don't ordinarily go. You don't probably know the neighborhoods, and you may feel really trepidatious about entering some of these neighborhoods. And if you do, my advice would be to drive back to the restaurant and tell them you don't feel safe. Or check it out on your phone before you go, see where it is. And if it's in an area that you don't feel comfortable delivering, I'm sure somebody else would do it. You know, maybe someone who does know the area. So let me see if I can find some video. And then I wanted to show you the case of the woman in Littleton, Colorado, 62 or 63-year-old woman who had been, let's try this one out. This is the one that was in Littleton. And this woman's really lucky to have gotten away with her life.
New tonight, Littleton police are looking for the person who walked into a car wash here, dragged the driver out of her seat, and drove off in her van. This video is just awful. Happened yesterday around noon at the Atlantis car wash on South Federal Circle. Police say the 63-year-old driver is okay, and while she fought him off for a while, he ultimately grabbed her neck, bit her before pulling her to the ground. Investigators say the suspect is a white man, probably in his 40s, and the van is a 2011 gray Toyota Sienna with South Dakota plates. It has a Practice Aloha sticker on the back.
Just hard to watch.
Yeah, that is really hard to watch. I'm showing you this because I don't want this to happen to you. I just want to double check that video again, if I can actually go back. If it'll let me go back. Here we'll go. We'll go up here and look at it. I want to see if her door was unlocked. I just want to see if her door was unlocked on this one more time, if y'all don't mind.
New tonight, Littleton police are looking for the person who walked into a car wash here, dragged the driver out of her seat, and drove off in her van. This video is just awful.
The car wash is in motion.
At the Atlantis car wash on South Federal Circle. Police say the 63-year-old driver is okay, and while she fought him off for a while, he ultimately grabbed her neck, bit her before pulling her to the ground. Investigators say the suspect is a white man, probably in his 40s, and the van is a 2011 gray Toyota Sienna with South Dakota plates. It has a Practice Aloha sticker on the back.
Just hard.
Well, he definitely was not practicing Aloha. Definitely a jerk for doing that to that woman. Her door was unlocked. You know, you're not expecting that in the car wash. So you've got the element of surprise. He was walking very purposefully. He definitely set out to do that crime. The car wash was engaged, so there's the possibility that if you're in one and that car wash is running, you might have trouble escaping that, and your only defense is going to be your car being locked. And at that point, I don't even know if you could put your car in reverse, because some of those, you're on tracks. You might be able to back up, but if not, if your doors are locked, you might just be best to crouch down. And I would say, of course, have a weapon on you. Have a weapon on you. We're not living in normal times, and things as benign as going to the car wash can cost you your life. This is let's try. I'm going to see this one and see how this one happened. I've watched several of these before, and I didn't want to show anything too violent. This one doesn't have audio. Look at this. He was working up the nerve. He's got a gun. It's pointed at the window. Here's another one. They're tag teamed. He unlocked it. He's getting out. Still has a gun pointed with one hand. He could have had, if you had some skills, you probably could have knocked the gun free. If it's only in one hand, it's not going to be that secure, but you don't know how often that these guys have done this. But they did the smart thing. They got out, they let him have the vehicle. It's not worth your life, and it definitely, not engaging is the way to go. However, I'm sure if you were a skilled martial arts person, you could probably have taken that gun, but I mean, how many of us are like that? Not
25 years old.
not
That's a
many. Here's one where a good Samaritan stops the driver.
Before she jumped on the windshield,
Look at
this
that.
driver simply stopped at the car wash with no idea that the four men inside this red van were targeting her, waiting for her to step away. This security footage shows them casing her. When she stepped back from the car, these men climbed in and took off. But they weren't going without a fight. First, a leap on the hood, and then this man, a City of Smyrna employee, he noticed the carjacking and ran towards danger. He quickly pulled out a pistol and fired.
I heard the guy shoot the carjacker, and then I saw him fall out of the car. He was like shaking, just holding his chest, and then he just falls onto the floor.
The carjacker fell out in the middle of Cobb Drive. He was taken to Kennestone Hospital, where police tell us he's in stable condition. The car was recovered. The Good Samaritan waited for police, then went on with his day.
It's really great to see that people are willing to go out of their way to help somebody else out.
Wow, that lady.
As for that juvenile who is in custody, we learned late tonight that he has been charged with theft and aggravated assault, and that is a felony, Jeff.
So, Jeremy, I'm seeing the guy in the blue shirt. In one moment, he is vacuuming his car.
Okay, he'll probably be released, y'all. I mean, that's just the way it's working. So, okay, definitely these people are they're selecting victims. Okay, now 2 out of those 3 videos, a victim has been selected. She was, female, right? There were 2 females by themselves. Women are just going to be more vulnerable, especially when they're alone, and especially at the car wash. Because you've typically got your doors open and the keys in the ignition. You're listening to some music and just vacuuming, and you feel safe because you're around all those other people. You're just around all those other people, so it doesn't seem like anything could happen to you. And that's just not the case. Yeah, she was clearly outnumbered, and I have to hand it to that woman. She just threw herself on that car. For most of us, that's the most expensive thing we have besides a house, if you're lucky to even own your own house. So I can't fault her for doing that. My gosh, that's her vehicle. She cared about it. It's what gets you back and forth to work. Then the other one had a couple. It looked like it had a couple in it, and they were definitely outnumbered. And so those two suspects had it very well planned out. So they tag teamed and they were able to cover a driver and a passenger. So see, even if you're with somebody and practicing the buddy system, it's not a guarantee. What is my solution for all of this? Well, before I tell you what it is, because I am just as vulnerable as the next person, okay? I just look like a victim. I've been told that. And I know it's probably true. I know it's true. I don't have any business going to places like car washes and convenience stores. First of all, I'm just one of those people that, you know, I used to really get easily engaged in conversation, aka distraction. And one time there was this homeless man out in front of a Stripes, and I went to the Stripes, and some of my family got mad at me for going there. But I'd been cooped up for a while, and I just wanted to go get something to drink. And so I got out, and this homeless man started talking to me, and he wasn't making a lot of sense, but I felt sorry for him. And so I started talking to him, and, he asked me for some money, and I gave him some money. Okay, this was like a while ago. I would not do this now. I say that, but no, I don't. I steer clear of a lot of places now. So then one of the employees came out and she said, "Is so and so giving you a hard time?" I said, "Oh no, he's being really nice." She said, "Well, he's loitering, and if he doesn't stop, I'm calling the police." Okay, so just to let you know, FYI, and I learned my lesson from that because I told y'all about my white van story. When people start engaging you in conversation places that you don't know, that is to distract you. Just to let you know, that is to distract you. And they know it. And they can spot people who that's going to work for. So that's just a little side note on that. But no, going to the car wash is probably a bad idea unless you go to one like, I would say, I don't know if y'all have those Quick Quack, or you have the ones where you actually get out of the vehicle and you go inside. Really, that's probably a more safe idea than going to these small ones that are detached from the gas stations. Because most of the time you have to pull up to a where you put your credit card in to pay for it, and they're real hard to get through when you're sitting in your car. So you have to get out and kind of awkwardly put in that credit card. Now, I'm trying to find how to protect yourself from carjackings. Let's see. There was a video on how to protect yourself from carjacking. So basically, they're just one of those areas that is going to attract the criminal element. You're by yourself. You're in one of those detached units. You've just gotten out. You've got your credit card in your hand. They know you've paid for it. They know it's just and no one's going to ever see that you were in the car wash. And typically the security cameras aren't going to be working. You can't always count on technology. So here's just a quick video. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea.
How to protect yourself from carjacking. Don't make yourself an easy mark for a carjacker.
Oh my gosh,
you will need alertness and common sense. Step 1. Stay alert at places carjackers like to strike. Red lights, gas stations, ATM machines, parking lots, shopping centers, car washes, convenience stores, hotels, valet parking areas, fast food drive-thrus, and outside of retail stores. Step 2. Keep your doors locked when you're driving, and keep your windows up as much as possible, especially when you're stopped in traffic. Step 3. Leave space between your car and the car in front of you at a red light, so you have room to escape if someone tries to carjack you. Step 4. Park carefully. Choose only well-lit spots and avoid remote areas. When you're returning to your car, always have your
I
keys in
don't get
hand as
that
you
video,
approach,
you
so you're not
guys.
fumbling
I
around
don't
at your car
understand
door.
why it looks like that.
Step 5. If your car breaks down or is disabled in an accident and a stranger offers to help, do not open your window or door. If you don't have a cell phone, ask them to call for help. Step 6. Don't fall for the intentional fender bender, known as the bump and rob. If you suspect that someone has hit you intentionally as a way to get you out of your car, note their license plate number and then drive directly to the nearest police station. Step 7. If you are faced with a carjacker,
Okay, y'all,
don't fight it. Your car,
nothing's
no matter how
inappropriate.
snazzy, is not worth your life. Did you know? 68% of the carjackings that occurred between 1993 and 2002 took place at night.
Okay, I'm really uncomfortable with that video. I don't know why that woman looks like that. Or is it supposed to be like a little Caesar? That's just like a really, I don't know if that's inappropriate or not. I can't tell if that's like a little Caesar video. Strange. I don't get that video at all. Well, basically, you just have to be careful when you go to these places. There was a lady back in Austin when I went to school there. I got to Austin in the early 90s and basically was starting my life over. Well, this case was big time. And I think it's kind of odd that I can't get as much material on it online, and it may be the search engine that I'm using, because I'm getting more about the killers than I am about the victim. And that's one of the things that I don't like, is that typically a lot of these shows focus on the killer. And see, look, her name was Colleen Reed, and there she is there, but they've got her killer's name underneath it. So when I got to Austin, I started working for an organization that was a crime victims advocacy group. Well, I discovered there was just this huge world of crime there in Austin. I discovered there was a huge world of crime. And at the time, there were also the yogurt shop murders. And however, though, the one with Colleen Reed really struck close to home because of what happened to her. So I'm going to see if I can actually pull up a video of this, and then I'm going to cut my video short because I know my videos go on long. It says, for those of us who live in suburbia, living in the close quarters with your neighbors' houses can offer a sense of security. It says, sure, there's crime, but it's often sequestered in the seedier parts of the city, leaving you to live out your life in relative comfort and safety. Mundane tasks, such as visiting the local gas station or family video, can be done with quickness and ease. Colleen Reed of Austin, Texas, probably never gave it a second thought when she left to run errands on December 29th of 91. Miss Reed had gone to the bank and then drove her white Mazda to a nearby car wash. At that point, and it was also one of those do-it-yourself car washes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Ladies, don't ever, 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 ever go to one of those. Ever. Don't go with your children. Don't go with the buddy system. Stay away from the do-it-yourself car wash. Don't go at all, period, ever. Okay, so she had gone to the bank, which was, I guess, obviously late at night, because I know this happened at around midnight. And then she drove her white Mazda, which was new, to a nearby car wash. At that point, two men, Kenneth McDuff and Alva Worley, were driving around that area. And I know that area in Austin. It was just an older part of Austin. There was nothing about it that looked, scary. So these two killers were driving around and they were looking to score drugs. McDuff spotted her and pulled their car into the wash basin next to Reed's. At that point, he snuck around her car and grabbed her by the throat. He lifted her up just so her toes touched the ground. McDuff dragged her back to his car and ordered Worley to jump in the back seat to keep her under control. She did manage to scream. Neighbors did hear it in the midst of the kidnapping. And those guys did call the police to inform about what had happened. Well, that's all I'm going to read out of that article because the rest of it is just too tough for me to read. If you want to look it up, you can. This idiot, it wasn't his first rodeo, and I'm sad to say there's just a lot of those people. They don't talk about it a lot. You're not going to hear anything on mainstream about the real dangers in our society. Everybody is just, like I said, it's just a script, and you're going to get what they want you to hear. And that really shouldn't be anything new at this point. I think we're all pretty aware of, should be aware of that by now. But at any given point in time, you've got to realize, and we know after everything that we've learned, is that there's a revolving door. And, truthfully, I'm sure there's so much overcrowding going on. But then with everything that came out last year with the 1-9er, they were releasing a lot of people. And that just seems to me to be part of the agenda. So you can't really count on the people being locked up that need to be locked up. And it's easy to get lulled into a false sense of security when you are in society doing the mundane things like Colleen Reed was doing. And at the heart of everything, you think, well, we've got a system and people are being locked up. They're going to prison. There's a safety net. We have a safety net just by proxy of living in America. And we do, to a degree. We do. Was really happy to see that law enforcement really still cares about getting to the heart of the matter, I believe, when people go missing. I mean, sure, some cases get more attention than others. But unfortunately, I really truly believe that we're I would say we're a little bit outnumbered. We are more outnumbered than we were. We are definitely more outnumbered than we were. And even though our governor here in Texas is working on bail bonds reform, that's going to take a while. And I would imagine it's going to take more prisons needing to be constructed. And we have more people locked up here than anywhere in the world. And that's a whole nother story. So, it's really up to us. It's really up to us. I think about the Roman society and how at one time it was really one of the safest societies to live in because people really cared about law and order and defending themselves. People knew how to defend themselves. Honor was a big thing. But we're just in a real strange place. We're in a really strange place right now. I really pray that if you get anything out of my videos, I know they're kind of boring. I know I stutter a lot. Well, I say and a lot. I know I do. And I'm working on it. But I want you to be aware that the places where you normally go and have once felt safe, because our infrastructure is down, there's just going to be more danger lurking. There's a lot of jobs that have been considered not essential. People are at home more. It's just a domino effect. So, one thing I just want to go ahead and read while we're all together here before I go, because, we all have to interact in this world, is Psalm 91. It's one of my favorite ones, and I was hoping I had the KJV pulled up. And I always try to remember that God doesn't give us any more than we can handle. So in Psalm 91, it says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall be no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation." And just know that no matter what situation you're in, to call upon him. And he is with you always. He knew you before you were formed. He's our Lord God, and Jesus Christ is our Savior.